Hi guys, hi everyone. Welcome to Prim Pulse. This is episode number 1, and we have a very special guest, Mukta Patil, who's the founder of Eatrrite. Mukta, thank you so much for joining us on Prim Pulse.
Thank you so much. It is indeed an honor and a real pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. How did you get into nutrition? Is there any personal story behind it?
Of course. So my journey into nutrition began with my own need to become healthy and to get back to my pre-pregnancy weight. So I
Mm,
had quite a complicated pregnancy where I was given quite a lot of steroids and all to just keep me going. Post which I had gained my weight at delivery was around 98 kgs.
mm,
And I kept on moving from one diet to the other, from one person to the other,
mm,
until I realized that, okay, nothing is working because it's all short term, short term, short term, which is when I got into the entire system myself. Then I educated myself. I did my degree, I did my diploma,
mm,
and I implemented everything on myself. And that is how my journey into becoming healthy started,
mm,
which is when people around me saw the transformation, and when
mm,
they saw the transformation, then they started asking. And that is when then I got into it into more detail. Then I did different kinds of certifications. I also educated myself with exercise science
mm.
because I think nutrition, exercise, mindfulness, it all goes hand in hand. And then started the journey, and hence eat right. So one word which sums up the entire thing is you need to learn to eat right. There is nothing that can beat it.
Absolutely. I think there's no better story than having to go through something personally because you're never learning secondhand. It's just your experience, and that's the best teacher. In your opinion, so obviously, like there is so much traditional knowledge that is told to us. Like you mentioned pregnancy, so even around that, there is, like our dadi nani's gyan, which will tell us do this during pregnancy, eat this, whichever trimester, and post delivery, during lactation, all those periods. What was the gap according to you in terms of actually what the science is and what our traditional knowledge is generally around? Not saying traditional orange is wrong, but कुछ तो gap रहा होगा.
So in my case, the gap was that I was doing it all single-handedly. I did not have anyone around me. So the gap was that there was no one giving me any knowledge about the entire thing. However, in my experience of a nutritionist, now Eatrrite is nearly 6.5 years old.
Yeah.
And I've also done the pregnancy in nutrition. I have done child and nutrition. So those are the certifications and courses also additionally, which I did apart from the mainstream education. So the gap over here in today's date is while everything that our Dadi Nani said holds true in its nutritional sense today,
Mm,
but not in its caloric sense.
mm,
Because at that time, when there was pregnancy, the woman would still be active, they would still be doing their household chores. The amount of complications were quite less than compared to today.
mm,
क्योंकि आज अगर आप देखा जाए तो then there is PCOD, there is PCOS. So
mm,
many doctors ask you specifically to have bed rest. So when you are on bed rest, then the amount of calorie that a pregnant woman should be having
mm.
again needs to be kept in mind. Too
Oh.
much of calories or too much of caloric intake
Mm,
is something that can induce gestational diabetes, or it can lead to obesity. It can lead to an obese. Once it leads to obesity, then the childbirth also becomes very difficult, which is when the C-section comes in. So
I
once the C-section comes in, then it's again a loop for the mother itself, because
mm,
it's very difficult to lose post pregnancy weight then. So this is something that I have personally seen in C-sections. It does become a little bit challenging to lose weight.
mm,
Uh, the kind of maybe gestational diabetes or bulimia, even hypertension, after a certain time it does come back in these women. So most of my clients are female clients.
mm.
PCOD, PCOS, thyroid, gestational diabetes coming back as diabetes in them is something very common that I have seen. So this is there. So I think the major gap that lies is कि पहले जैसे होता था ना कि इतना खाना है 2 लोगों का खाना खाना है, that concept is not valid anymore. कि 2 लोगों का खाना नहीं खाना है, आपको सिर्फ 250 या 500 कैलोरी ज्यादा खाना है, which is probably maybe one small laddu and one extra roti and that's it. That's the entire count. So you don't need to go overboard anywhere.
I see. So basically, also because like now that, so we need to update our knowledge. Now the knowledge which was passed down, but today the lifestyle is so different that the template doesn't fit perfectly. So
Exactly.
you have to adapt a little, definitely. You mentioned PCOD, and now we hear like I don't know about the global situation, but in India, like 1 in 5 or 6 women.
Yes.
Why is that number like every decade you're seeing this change? Why is that happening?
One is definitely lifestyle. Then there is a study which currently claims that PCOD, PCOS could have been a suppressed gene in all women. The reason it is expressing itself is because of the lifestyle changes. So women who tend to be more active, who tend to maintain their BMI, who tend to take care of themselves with their eating habits बोलिए या stress level बोलिए, sleeping on time, waking up on time, we often undermine, the most undermined thing is sleep and hydration. ये 2 चीजें जो कर लेते हैं तो उनमें थोड़ा सा कम दिख के आता है ये, बट अदरवाइज इट्स जस्ट टर्निंग अराउंड एंड एक्सप्रेसिंग इटसेल्फ इन children as young as 14 years old also.
Wow. Is this genetic or just comes down to lifestyle?
Right now, the study which has been done, it says that it is a gene which has not expressed itself all these years because women were more active. As in now, PCOD, PCOS, PCO, ये 3 अलग-अलग category है again. PCOS is syndrome, D is disorder, and PCO is just the polycystic ovary, where it's a very mild form. So it ranges from mild to a lifestyle disorder to a syndrome, which probably the syndrome is the most severe form of it, where you can say that maybe where the study claims it is a gene which is not being expressed due to women being active, and now that they are not active anymore, the lifestyle has gone major changes, and hence it is expressing itself. So studies are still on. There is no confirmed study which says ki this is the cause or this is the cause. But yes, as soon as you do focus on your lifestyle, the things start to reverse around.
Got it. Okay. There's so much processed foods that we're having also on a daily basis. We also see some kind of I don't know, you maybe correct me if I'm wrong here, that also plays a role in so a pregnant woman eating a lot of processed foods plays a role in the health and development of the child.
Yes, of course. Because so one thing is processed food is high on artificial flavoring, it is high on sodium, it is high on sugars. And also when we say processed, now processed तो वैसे सब कुछ ही हो रहा है, आपकी दाल वाल भी process होके पैकेज होके आ रही है, but उसमें आपका फाइबर वाइबर सब कुछ intact है. Nothing is going off, right? But when we are talking about processed foods, which are probably like chips or biscuits or even the things which are labeled as baked, not fried, over there, it's very cleverly masked. Baked not fried, ठीक है, आपने fry नहीं किया है, but baking में उतना ही amount of you have added fat to make it more tasty.
No trans fat. People read this and feel कि अरे ये तो this is some like eating a carrot, but then
it is not.
It's just the marketing loophole कि वो यहाँ पे डाल देते हैं.
Of course, yes. So high levels of sodium already during pregnancy. Women are retaining so much amount of water. उसमें आप अगर sodium, high level of sodium you're having from these packaged foods, or you're having sugars from these packaged food, then again the body is going to retain more water. More water, more weight on the weighing scale, more, your legs becoming heavy, swollen. There are multiple things which will come up. And the more the body retains water, the more chances of your blood pressure going up. the more pressure falling on your baby.
True.
So many things, everything is just interlinked. So it's like a domino effect.
Yeah,
One
yeah.
thing falls, the other thing starts to fall off.
We are also seeing a trend in India where people are trying to generally get a little more aware about better
Mm.
eating. People who are spending too much time on social media, some of them are still spending it on something constructive. That okay, let me look at good,
Yeah.
educative content.
Mm.
But then there is still that huge segment which is so ignorant about
Mm.
what to do, what not to do, or कि इसमें क्या unhealthy है वाला question. You would be getting so many of such questions. Is there something that comes up very often which is very shocking to you, that how is this even asked today? ऐसे कुछ questions हैं?
Yeah. So few of them are in case of diabetics, it is related to rice. Consumption of rice, banana, mango, sweet potato, normal potato, dosa, idli.
Hmm.
तो ये सारी चीजें diabetics are really really scared of having.
Hmm.
I still remember I had this client from Dehradun.
Hmm.
He had come to me with a HbA1c of 11.4%.
Wow.
And within 8 weeks,
Hmm.
he was eating his rice, he was eating his dosa, he
Hmm.
was eating his idli, and it had come down to 5.3.
Wow.
All he needed to do was to manage, or rather, we needed to bring in the balance between his fiber content,
Hmm.
his carbohydrate content, and his protein content, and everything was regulated. It was the last chance that his doctor gave him कि अब अगर आपने वेट कम नहीं किया और लाइफस्टाइल चेंजेस नहीं किए तो आई एम गोना पुट यू ऑन अ मेडिकेशन. That was his push to come to me while he had taken my number about 8 months ago.
Hmm.
So he was there was an event where I was invited as a speaker,
Hmm.
and he had reached out to me to give me your number and I will come to you, but he never came.
Hmm.
Of the fear कि I will not be allowed to eat my favorite foods, or I will not be allowed to eat पनीर नहीं खाने मिलेगा और ये नहीं खाने मिलेगा.
Hmm.
But he ended up eating everything. So for him it was an eye opener. अरे डाइट का मतलब restriction नहीं है.
Hmm.
डाइट का मतलब यह है कि आप न्यूट्रिशन बैलेंस करो. So
Absolutely.
that is something that needs to change. That thought process needs to change.
Absolutely. You mentioned protein. That also makes me wonder. India, may we are so averse to having protein in the right quantities. Get one katori of dal and say, "मैंने खा तो ली दाल."
हाँ.
But then people just don't have that benchmark of ki, okay, male, female, age, what, how much grammage of protein should you have on a daily or aspire to have on a weekly basis. वो कॉन्सेप्ट ही नहीं पता हमें. हमारा बेसिक डाइट इतना कार्ब हैवी है कि हमारा पेट भर जाता है, एंड वी प्रिज्यूम ओके पेट भर गया, या इसे वो तो ज्यादा खाता भी नहीं है. अरे बट क्या खा रहा है? मैं प्लेन चावल खा लूं, versus me eating, it's very difficult to overeat protein.
Yes.
You know,
Absolutely right.
order भी एक order भी होता होगा on how to eat, in the sense कि don't eat carb first, ऐसा भी कुछ होता है कि
No. So this is something that has come up only for the internet, okay? Because understand one thing, when we talk about diet plans, or generally when people portray their diet plans on the internet, they are talking about a specific time frame. They are talking about a specific condition. They want to showcase what a product can do. Like most of the time, this theory has been associated with your CGM monitors. Eat your rice and put on the CGM monitor and you see how much spike is happening. So the theory has come from there. But do you think this is sustainable in your everyday life till the time you grow old? कि मैं पहले फाइबर खाऊंगा, फिर उसके बाद में प्रोटीन खाऊंगा, फिर उसके बाद में चावल खाऊंगा. तो चावल आप खाओगे किसके साथ? इन द एंड आप अगर सिर्फ चावल खा रहे हो तो देन तो ग्लाइसेमिक इंडेक्स एंड लोड तो आपका एनीवेज मेसअप हो चुका है ना. And it is in the end, the stomach is not differentiating in which order the food is coming.
Right.
If you are eating, probably you are sat down for your meal. The first thing that you do is pick up a bowl of salad. You have your salad. Bowl हो गया, आपने side में रख दिया. You pick up a bowl of paneer. You eat your paneer. Put it aside. Then you eat your rice. and you've finished your rice, you've put it down. Now everything is entering into your food pipe, into your stomach at the same time. Your stomach is going to digest it. So that logic does not apply. What definitely matters is आपका combination क्या बनाया, कितना बनाया है.
I see.
And coming to the question on protein, yes, definitely. As Indians, we are deficient in protein. Under the poverty line, there are a lot of programs where the government runs them to ensure that quality amount of food and protein is being given to the children through the midday meals and this thing. We have a lot of people coming under the poverty line also, and other than that, the middle class also. So when you come to the government kind of studies or the data, so ye pura hai, that is there. However, if you are to very intelligently balance your dal and chawal, because if we think from a common man's point of view, who cannot afford protein, who cannot afford buying chicken or eggs or paneer every day, अगर आप बहुत इंटेलिजेंटली अपना राजमा चावल का कॉम्बिनेशन बनाते हो, अपने दाल चावल का कॉम्बिनेशन बनाते हो, it is enough to sustain. It is definitely enough to sustain. And if you're someone who is into athletics, or if you're someone who can very easily afford any of these things, so you can go ahead and include 1 cup of, either paneer or 1 cup of chicken, which is approximately 3 pieces of chicken and maybe 70 to 100 grams of paneer, a cup of dal in the day, a cup of curd, and maybe 2 or 3 eggs. So आप दिन का basic protein requirement पूरा हो जाता है.
Right.
So protein is always goal oriented, and you also need to budget it, because right now it is definitely on the higher side of the budgeting this thing.
Definitely.
वो है. The fear with protein that many people have is in terms when it comes as a whey supplement. So a lot of people are scared. Rightfully also they are scared, because there is a lot of mixing that happens, lot of heavy metals which leach into it. The labels are not transparent, the testing is not done proper. So the only way that a person can ensure that the whey protein supplement they are having is ensure that you're buying it from a authorized dealer only. The seal is intact. You are checking it with the barcode. So if you run the basic tests, you are safe enough to consume the protein.
Got it. People do have these queries about, and it's a very blanket yes or no question. A lot of people say, should I have protein powder or not? I mean, वो तो बहुत इसमें qualified answer होगा इसका कि
also whey protein is not suggested in cases of kidney diseases, in case of any kind of kidney discomfort also. So एक गलती हम ये कर जाते हैं as Indians, or I don't know why we kind of consume less water, because this is something that I push and frequently I have to remind my clients, drink water. Any client who has come to me till date has never been having more than 1.5 liters of water in the day. I have to keep pushing कि पहले 2 लीटर तक लाओ, फिर 3 लीटर तक लेके जाओ. But one, water consumption does matter. So, you must always get your tests done at least once in 8 months or once in a year. Know where your liver profile, your kidney profile stands. How are you functioning? And then based on that, you decide your protein intake. While many of the health influencers go ahead and say कि protein खाने से कुछ नहीं होता है और खा सकते हैं और बहुत safe है, but नहीं है. Kidney patients में specifically it is a big no. It has to be maintained below 50 grams a day. That is the cap.
क्या यूरिया का कुछ play होता है इसमें?
Urea, you can say, or you can even say the way the entire thing is being processed also. Okay. So your creatinine levels need to be checked. Your uric acid needs to be checked. वो कितना आपके body में retain हो रहा है, because the kidney is not capable of flushing it out. The byproduct needs to be flushed out.
Right.
पर kidney flush out नहीं कर रहा है उसको, तो आपके वो muscles में retain हो रहा है, या it is not functioning the way it has to be functioning. And if it is not flushing out, it will in turn then put pressure on your liver, but then the liver is taxed. So many things will go off. So again, it's like the domino effect. कि एक जाएगा तो दूसरा पे effect पड़ेगा ही पड़ेगा.
There is so much information out there. How can you what should be the thumb rules that a person should look at to really cut the noise and focus at the right things nutrition ko leke, because there is so much information and there is counter views, this that ki one just it kind of comes down to what pages you are following, and then you'll just start believing
Yes.
those.
Few thumb rules which we can come up with are: one, think logically. Think about yourself and not what the person is telling you. सबसे पहले अपने आप को सामने रखो. What is your lifestyle? Is your lifestyle right? If your lifestyle is not right, you start with setting up your lifestyle first. Get up on time, sleep on time. Are you eating out too much? If you're eating out too much, first start eating at home. So, first you need to get the basics right. Then you need to think about the protein. Then you need to think about the carbohydrate. Then you need to think about the fat intake. And also when it comes specifically to protein, क्योंकि अभी हम protein के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, so very clearly the guidelines have been given. It is 0.8 grams for basic maintenance, 0.8 grams per kg of body weight. This is more than enough for a healthy individual to maintain his muscle mass.
Okay.
उसके बाद अगर आप एक्सरसाइज कर रहे हो, बहुत रेगुलरली एथलेटिक्स कर रहे हो, दौड़ रहे हो, भाग रहे हो, कूद रहे हो, तो उसको थोड़ा सा बढ़ा लो, 1.2 ग्राम्स कर लो. आप बहुत ज्यादा हैवी बॉडी बिल्डिंग कर रहे हो, वेट लिफ्टिंग कर रहे हो, तो उसको 2 ग्राम्स कर लो. So 1.2 grams per kg of body weight, 2 grams per kg of body weight, and that is more than enough. The rest remaining, always make it up with the carbohydrate, always make it up with the fat that comes along with this thing. And of course, fiber is there, and very, very important. If you are consuming protein, your fiber is extremely, extremely important. There have been cases of keto, where people have gone on a keto diet, they neglected their fiber, ended up being severely constipated because protein is very difficult to digest.
Yeah.
So they end up getting severely constipated, and they could not have the normal regular bowel movement. They get hospitalized. Then the doctor has to, put in the enema and everything. So it's a very painful process. So one thing which you need to be mindful with protein consumption is fiber has to be there. Fiber रहना ही रहना है. Water consumption रहना ही रहना. Those two things are mandatory.
For an average Indian family, let's say a housewife and say around 40 years of age. Now, what is, as per you, a good sleeping window for her in terms of kitne hours unko sona chahiye? And secondly, you said water, how much should her daily water intake be? And the third thing was how much should she like fiber ki aapne jo baat ki, to isme what can she do to just make it as a part of a normal thing ki kya salad mein hona chahiye? So, how much sleep is recommended?
So let's do one thing. Let's take the average middle class Indian family, jahan pe everything needs to be done by yourself. You do not have a help. So that way, it caters to all the sections. Now, if the woman is working, maximum bedtime should be around 10, because she will have to get up early to do all her cooking and everything. Now, agar 10 o'clock bedtime hai, most of the women do manage to get into bed by 10. But what happens is the reels keep them awake. So that is something that we really consciously need to take away. One thing which I implement with my clients is journaling. I make them write. So what happens is, though it does not trigger the same effect of a reel, but उनको ऐसे लगता है कि हाँ हमने कुछ तो किया है when we have gotten into the bed.
Right.
So it has helped them relieve or relive a few happy moments of the day. They smile, they go back to bed. बहुत push करना पड़ता है, but it does work.
Very nice. Yeah.
Something that they can do instead of watching reel, sit and journal, write down your thoughts.
Yeah.
Revisit the happy memories of the day, and I'm sure you'll have a very good sleep. There is a study which shows that The more you are hydrated, the lesser chance of you being emotionally disturbed or the lesser chances of you going into depression. So
Wow.
hydration is something that is again very very important. In fact, इस पे हमने वर्ल्ड मेंटल अवेयरनेस डे पे इस पे स्पेसिफिक हमने एक ये भी किया था post on the importance of hydration. So staying hydrated is something very important. Then the third question which you had asked was
Like fiber के लिए what can they normally do?
yeah. So fiber, one thing is cooked vegetables. Ensure there is a basic sabzi in the afternoon and the night meal. तो मतलब आप कुछ भी हो सकती है, सीजनल हो सकती है, जैसे अभी करेंटली गोभी का सीजन चल रहा है, शलगम चल रही है, गाजर चल रहा है. So you have any of that. You can even make a sabzi out of beetroot. So one is that. Second is always ensure you have the basic खीरा, टमाटर, प्याज on your plate. So one कटोरी of कचुम्बर salad, उसमें चाहे आप बीटरूट डाल लो, थोड़ा सा, थोड़े से sprouts डाल लो, but 1 cup of raw salad and 1 cup of cooked basic सब्जी जो स्टर फ्राई की हुई है, जिसमें कोई आपने लहसुन प्याज भून के मसाला नहीं तैयार किया है. Those two things need to be there in your afternoon and night meal. And along with that, at least 2 bowls of fruit. So 2 bowls of fruit, maybe around 200 grams of fruit. So that is your vegetable fiber. And the remaining fiber is also coming from your dals, from your rice, from your roti. So soluble and insoluble fiber का अगर हम balance बना के चलते हैं, तो your bowel movement is definitely better. So this actually helps solve issues like constipation, gases, bloating, or having that slight chest pain, chest burn जो होता है ना बहुत लोगों को, because this fiber content is off. I think NIN says that around 300 grams of fiber is required
per kg.
Per day.
Per kg. Do you think that the technology that we have today and the access that people have even from a young age, that's made it harder for people or easier to follow good nutrition advice?
That is a very tricky question. Because I think in a way it's become harder. It's become harder because we have become habituated to quick results. What happens is, most of the time you look at the technology or you look at the advertisements. Lose weight fast, drop so many kgs, drop inches, and then everything is उसको क्या बोलते हैं, सनसनीखेज बनाया जाता है. If you know this is happening, and so what happens is the person is completely shocked, and for a person who's new to this, it confuses them a lot. So I will say it has definitely made it harder. It is only easier when you calm yourself down, let the news sink into you, reason with it logically, and then approach the right person for advice. So, logically thinking everything through is the solution out of this maze. Otherwise, it's all very, very confusing. It's all very case. It is all very, oh my God, you're missing out. And in today's date, health has become equivalent to only and only weight loss. 90% of the people don't know what nutrition actually caters to. They did not know that nutrition caters to your gut issues. They did not know that nutrition caters to your heart health. They did not know that nutrition can at least help you manage the remaining health of your kidney. किडनी एक बार डैमेज हो सकती है तो उसको रिवर्स नहीं किया जा सकता, उसको सिर्फ मैनेज किया जा सकता है. So nutrition does that for you. And this happens only when the doctors have raised their hands up and said कि okay, अब हमारे पास कोई solution नहीं है, go to a nutritionist. That is when people come to us. So
And how do you see AI playing a role in this space now? कि अब AI आ रहा है, काफी लोग को खासकर जो टेक इंक्लाइंड है उनको लगता है कि यार चैट जीपीटी से पूछ लेंगे.
So, जब चैट जीपीटी इंट्रोड्यूस हुआ था, lot of my friends came telling me,
Hmm.
how will you survive?
Hmm.
Because it is giving you the diet chart.
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
like, okay, ठीक है. एक सेकंड के लिए मैं भी पैनिक हो गई थी कि yes, how will I survive?
Hmm.
And I actually went and asked ChatGPT to generate a chart.
Yeah.
धीरे 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 करके वो चार्ट तो उसने जनरेट किया. And while I kept thinking कि ये तो कर रहा है, ये तो कर रहा है. Which is when I started scrutinizing it, and there were so many mistakes. And each mistake I pointed out to ChatGPT, it came back saying, I apologize for my mistake. So a
Hmm.
common person will
Yeah.
never understand where ChatGPT has gone wrong
True.
in making suggestions.
True.
ChatGPT also, though I'm not wanting to target specifically ChatGPT, but
Sure.
general AI, when it does not know where it is making a mistake. Also, history matters.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, because when we construct a diet chart, or rather, I construct a diet chart, if I'm constructing a diet chart for a woman, say maybe at the age of 45,
Yeah.
I will go down to her first period cycle
Hmm.
till the time she got married. Married के बाद आपका pregnancy था, वो C-section था या normal delivery थी. So that is where I trace it all the way back to. Because that is what is going to tell me what went wrong. Where is it that things changed in her? If
Right.
she is suddenly at 110 kgs, why is she suddenly at 110 kgs? It is not today's doing. No
Sure.
one reaches 110 kgs in just a matter of 1 year. Something previously has happened for her to reach there.
Yeah.
या कुछ मेडिकेशन हुआ है जिसकी वजह से वो ट्रिगर हुआ है. सो आई डोंट थिंक AI कैन add that human touch, that empathy, and AI definitely cannot be there for you or replace the human effect of being there for another individual.
Right.
The reason why, specifically talking about Eatrrite, why Eatrrite does specifically run is because of this. Because one, I specifically ensure that all plans are done only and only by me. Second, the client who had taken my program 6 years ago is still in touch with me, calls me, says I am stuck here. So that is something that adds a value to them. कि हमारे लिए कोई है. There is
Absolutely.
someone who will hear us out.
Fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. It can never replace this. It's just basically doing quick search for you.
Yeah.
And you've also been part of the Prim family for a few months now. I thought I'll also take this opportunity to ask you how your journey with Prim has been.
My journey with Prim has been very, very well. It has been great. In terms of one, definitely, like you were aware that I was previously using some other software. I think the shift in the software, basically from the client perspective, for me, the client perspective is definitely very important, is the way the chart gets presented. When I am sitting here filling in data into different blocks, telling ki, ye khana hai, itne gram khana hai, ye khana hai, and it goes out just the way as it is, it looks very dull and boring. For a person who's already, convincing himself or herself कि यार diet करनी है, उसको सामने ना थोड़ा सा अच्छा presentation चाहिए होता है, something to keep them motivated. So that is something that Prim has definitely done really well. The chart looks lively, the colors look great. The way the pie chart goes कि आपके या rather the macronutrient ratios are mentioned. The pie chart is for me. जो उनके ratios वहाँ पे mention होके आते हैं, तो they are very clear. They are getting educated as well as their health is improving. So they know कि हाँ इस हफ्ते हमने इतना प्रोटीन खाया, इतना कार्ब खाया, इतना फैट खाया, अगले हफ्ते हम इतना इतना खाने वाले हैं. So that education is something that keeps them going. They are inquisitive, they are curious, they get into the process. So that is something that Prim has done for me. And from my end, what Prim has done is it has made it very, very simple and easy for me. सब कुछ सामने दिख के आता है. I don't need to sit and shift through many things to search. So it has definitely taken off a huge load, because constructing diet charts every week, very, very challenging. It is very time consuming. And that is something where, the macronutrient ratio clearly shows up on my screen. It clearly shows कि okay, मैंने rice डाला है तो इसका इधर इतना ये आ रहा है. And also the AI which Prim has introduced into it. Now this is where the AI is helpful for me. Uh,
Hmm.
because if there is a question that I need to ask, or maybe quickly make a recipe, sometimes, I am choosing the ingredients and giving it to a client. So
Hmm.
one of the basic सी recipe तो जाएगी.
Hmm.
But what if there is a possibility of some other recipe? That is where the AI tool also helps me come up with new creative recipes, which
Hmm.
again help the clients keep going.
Yeah.
So, you cannot fight with the basic conditioning of the mind of today's date कि
Yeah.
खाना टेस्टी चाहिए, भले ही आप डाइट करा लो बट हमको खाना टेस्टी चाहिए. So
बिल्कुल.
these are few things which are very very innovative in Prim.
Yeah.
And the biggest part for me to continue investing in Prim is the entire team support. So when I'm stuck, I need the team backing me. कि
Hmm.
okay, this is not functioning. ये कुछ हो रहा है या यहाँ कुछ हो रहा है. So the quick responses
Hmm.
from Prim that I have always received, the feedback that I have given, and which has always been taken in the positive aspect, I think that is something that has definitely won me over. It has won my trust over. That is something that I really, really love about. So that's there.
Thank you so much, Mukta. And we also really enjoy working with businesses like yours who have a very nice ethical way of approaching things, do things with the right mindset, and it makes that synergy very, very fruitful for both the parties. So thank you, Mukta. I think this is a good point to wrap it up because at least these are the takeaways I'd like to go with. Okay, these 5 things, let's just try to focus on these 5 things on a weekly basis. And even if you fail 2 days, then try get back on the horse again and again. But that endeavor should be there that, okay, ye karte raho, because you'll get there.
Yeah, yes.
And so thank you so much for joining us on
Very much. It was an honor. Thank you. Take care.